Hey folks, what's here? Welcome back to another Pokemon Masters video, and today I thought, it would be a good opportunity just to go through Pokemon Masters launch and how it came back from being what people called a dead game, because there was a period where the game was a bit struggling, right? Not only in just player base, a lot of their revenue as well, as I think a lot of sources did say. So yeah, let's go through a lot of these. So when Pokemon Masters first launched, it was extremely hyped up, right? It's a Pokemon game. DNA was involved, which made a lot of really, really great mobile games, right? Fire Emblem Heroes, Mario Kart Tour. They did a lot of these Nintendo mobile games, and they were fairly successful, right? Especially Fire Emblem Heroes, right? Which I really enjoyed. So yeah, it was super hyped up. They had, and I think, was it Pokemon Directs or Nintendo Directs that also helped with it. They got a really, really extremely hyped trailer and all that stuff. And then it finally launched. It soft launched in, I think, Singapore and Canada or somewhere at first, but the global launch was on, I think, is that August or actually, I guess, was that the 24th over here? I don't even know. Is this just, I don't know what this is, but it was around like the 28th, right? Of August, and they had a special launch celebration rally where we get some stuff and all that, and that. Oh, really? Did we actually get that many gems? Okay, we did. Okay, damn, we really got that many gems at first. So they're giving us a lot of free gems. It's a launch event, and then they gave us a 5-star guaranteed scout, which was paid gems, which a lot of people sort of complain about, but a lot of people took advantage as well. And then the biggest thing to come out of the launch was Blue, right? Blue came out like a few days right after, like what, 4 days, right? And then everyone's playing this game. I saw a lot of people on YouTube covering it. Everyone I knew was playing the game online, right? And it was really, really hype. A lot of new players, people enjoying the game, people pulling their favorite sync pairs, whatever characters, and it was pretty hype. And then when Blue came, Blue just pushed the hype over the. It was incredible. A lot of people were super excited about Blue. Blue's a pretty popular character, and at the time, when people weren't too familiar with the meta, a lot of people thought Blue was really, really good, right? And Blue's not bad per se, right? And a lot of people thought Blue was really, really strong. People hyped it up. I remember a lot of tier lists having Blue at being the strongest sync pair in the game, right? Overall, which obviously is not true. Wasn't true back then, wasn't true now. I think the reason why they thought Blue was the best back then was because in beta, I think they didn't have co-op. It was just single player, which, back then Blue would probably be the, one of the best single player units, right? Strongest ones. So there's that. And then Blue came. I think they made bank on the Blue banner, right? A lot of people are summoning for it. I summoned for it, all that stuff. And then the next event was, or I guess the next banner was a week later. So they do weekly banner updates, right? And there was an Olivia Spotlight Scout. And honestly, even though Olivia was much, much better than Blue, as we now know, right? People weren't as excited for Olivia because for understandable reasons, right? Olivia was already a character in the game. It wasn't anything new, so people weren't too hyped for it. And then came the rock training event, which a lot of people were actually low-key upset about it, just because some folks thought it was kind of underwhelming. I personally enjoyed it. It's a lot of EXP that you could grind from the rock type training event, right? But a lot of people were upset about the rock type training event. They thought it was kind of underwhelming and all that. And then after that was Lyra. Lyra came. Lyra was a pretty underwhelming unit as well. And grass type training event. And then people kind of got a sort of a grasp on what their content release cycle is and all that. And so this is, I think, when a lot of the enthusiasm kind of sort of dropped a bit from the initial hype and all that. And then we got a new EX challenge, which was Berry. Berry was relatively easy. And it was pretty fun to play back then when Berry first came out. But I don't think a lot of people were too hyped for EX challenges back then. Obviously, EX challenges back then and EX challenges right now are extremely different, right? So moving on, the next banner after that was actually Hilbert, which Hilbert really wasn't that bad, and I think around here was when more folks started to drop the game. Unfortunately, the water type training event, the new EX challenge and stuff, and then Hilda came around. Hilda, I thought it seemed like it picked it brought some folks back in. Hilda apparently is a very really popular character and all that, right? And they had a whole story event to go with it as well, which obviously helped a lot. And then here's like basically the complaints were at the time, the training events were kind of boring. The units were whatever, right? People wanted the big units. They wanted Cynthia. They wanted Lance. They wanted Red. They wanted whatever else they want, right? And whatever, right? They wanted legendary units. They just wanted a lot of other stuff. People complained about the co-op being way too slow, and other stuffs like the training event not having anything worth to exchange for it, because the story events kind of spoiled us with the potential boosts, and then people thought they weren't worth too much, and people were on kind of a gem drought because after the initial launch rally, they weren't giving out as many free to play gems as they did back then, and I think those were the main issues with the game. And also some people did complain about the EX challenges as well. Some didn't find it too exciting, too fun. And then they dropped Karina, and Karina had that infamous Acerola bug, right, where you could cheese EX Karina with Acerola. So that was pretty funny. I thought it was pretty funny, at least. And then we got our first, I guess, new kind of event, which was the co-op battle rally. And the battle rally, just it was missions and all that. I found it pretty cool, but apparently wasn't enough to get folks back. And, again, they weren't really fixing too many issues. And finally, they started communicating with the player base in their first message to the player base, and then where they kind of acknowledged that, the game was having issues, wasn't getting folks excited enough to play the game and all that. And then I actually did a video back then, and I was doing videos on the game ever since it released. But on this video, I remember a comment saying, "Oh, I don't trust these folks. They're screwing with us. They just want a quick cash grab. This is all lies, whatever." And well, that comment seems a bit did not age too well, because right now the game's doing awesome, right? Obviously, and they did fix a lot of these issues. So again, a lot of these issues kept on, moving into the next month as well. I think around October, like around this time. Actually, not this time, but we got special daily exchanges and all that stuff. We got our evolution rally, which gave us a lot of evolution materials. Oh, people did also complain about evolution materials, how hard they were to obtain, right, in comparison to a lot of the other stuff. And we got Alyssa, and Alyssa had that bug, that issue where like in the first hour or two, anyone who summoned on the Alyssa banner had like a really, really high rate of getting Alyssa. That was the only time I didn't do a summoning video right away, because I think I was busy at the moment, and I actually missed out on that. But they fixed the bug and compensated folks with that, so that was fine. And then they sent out their second letter over here, basically outlining a lot of the other issues that folks are complaining about: insufficient content, lack of appealing rewards, difficulty design, poor usability. And then they address a lot of that, or plan to, because for the reward adjustments, they said it was somewhere around November, I think, where they would be working on that, gems and all that stuff. And then that did obviously get implemented in November. We got much more gems. We got login bonuses with gems and all that stuff. In November, we got the community campaign and all that stuff. We got Brendan. We got more missions that gave more gems. We got our new super hard training course difficulty, so a lot more content. And then the other big issue that a lot of people were having with the game was, they wanted more story, and then they gave us story in November as well. I think it was in November, right? chapters 1921. Then the big thing that kind of I thought got a few folks back in the game was Trico's evolution. That was pretty huge. Trico was already really strong, but got much stronger after that. And then we got Caitlyn's Spotlight Scout, which was kind of a disappointment as well. Unfortunately, Caitlyn wasn't that great. Just in general, the scouts were mediocre. They were always not too crazy. And then again, November started, the special logging bonus. Everyone got like a ton of gems. The story rally, more gems. Phoebe wasn't too crazy. I got the new story chapters. Obviously, we got the Pokemon Celebration event, more free stuff, which was cool. Glalie came out, and then we got our third message from the Pokemon Masters team, which was this the really big one? Yeah, this was the big one. This was the one that confirmed the legendary Pokemon event. This was the big one. This brought a lot of people attention back to the game. Not necessarily back playing the game, because obviously the legendary Pokemon was not out yet. No one knew what it was. And then after, I'd say, around, I think mid-December? Or not mid-December, mid-November? Or was it at the end of November? I think it was at the end of November before they did their fourth letter. I think their fourth letter was in form of a YouTube video, right? But they kept on giving us a lot of good stuff, and for those who missed all this free stuff, that's kind of unfortunate. But they got Chris Spotlight Scout again. The scouts were always just kind of mediocre, but they were, fixing a lot of the other stuff, so that was cool. I guess they expanded level caps, which was a big deal, right? And then at the end of December, they got their fourth message. We got Mewtwo, and that was when Pokemon Masters, started picking up steam again. Mewtwo was a huge turning point for the game, honestly. Mewtwo was pretty big. A lot of people got back in the game. Mewtwo was really exciting with the Grimsley. Even though Grimsley, the unit itself, wasn't that great, it wasn't the most exciting thing in the world. They used it really well in conjunction with the Mewtwo event that got folks actually pulling on the Grimsley banner, right? The Mewtwo event got a lot of folks back in the game, and I could attest to that. Just check my, my video views. Not that it's not indicative of the player base, but when Mewtwo came back, obviously, at least from my perspective, what I could pick up was a lot of people started watching Pokemon Masters videos again, and that was kind of huge. So, and I think the biggest update and what got folks back in the game the most, or even not even old players, but new players back in the game. Obviously, the Christmas event was huge. People liked Christmas Rosa apparently. Like my Christmas Rosa summoning video had like 2 times the views as my Seabolt one, I think. But yeah, the big one was the 1.5 update, and that's the one that I think brought the game back to life. A really, really solid job by the developers over here, with it, making co-op much better, implementing bingo, the daily mission reward update, and all that stuff. The super course, all that. I guess there's mixed reactions on the super course thing, but the co-op got got a lot of people more excited for the game, and obviously the information about Cynthia and Lance and Solgaleo that got a lot of people back in the game. It got folks excited to play the game again, and we're kind of at where we're at now. So basically, it's They had a really, really great start to the game. They hit it off with a blast with the blue stuff. Folks were excited. It was a game. Like, I personally I was super excited for the game before it came out, because I'm a huge fan of the characters, and I really wish they would, I always wish that they would do a game focusing on the characters as well, as the Pokemon, and they gave it to us, and I was kind of disappointed when people started dropping off the game. And obviously, there were issues with the game. As we talked about, the co-op stuff, lack of content, the units, right? And they've really, really picked themselves back up from that kind of little slump that they had in, I'd say, October to like November, right? Mid-November. November kind of picked up a bit of steam, right? But Really great job. I think the most important part of their like sort of the comeback of Pokemon Masters, if you want to call it that, I think is honestly the communication. The communication helped a lot. The developer letters that we've gotten, around once a month, that really helped a lot. A lot of players keep faith in the game, know that they're working on fixing stuff and working on improving the game, obviously. So yeah, I thought that had a huge hand in picking the game back up. Obviously, all the content is great as well. The updates, the quality of life updates have been really great. The battle again button, that's big time, right? And all the new content, the legendary events. People love the legendary events, and also they started dropping some really popular characters on us as well with Cynthia and Lance, and then who knows what's coming on their 6 month anniversary. So I'm really excited to see where this game goes. I'm glad that they worked out a lot of the stuff, and the game is obviously looking better right now. And yeah, that's basically it for this video. Just going over how Pokemon Masters kind of how they started out, how they kind of went in the slump, and how they kind of just picked themselves back up, and where we're at right now. And yeah, I was thinking maybe I'll also do another video outlining some of the stuff I would want to see in this game as well in the future, because obviously it's not a perfect game. I don't think it's hard to say there's a perfect game in the world, right? They're still working on it. They should still work on it, and they are working on it, right? We're getting Synchronids soon. We're getting Battle Villa, more single player content. That should be huge for the game. Hopefully that would make a lot of the other units more viable. That would be really great. And our 6 month anniversary is coming up. Should be a lot of really fun stuff in there as well. So yeah, I'll also do another video going over some stuff that I would probably want to see improved in the game as well. So anyways, again, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you guys think about all this stuff in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video. Subscribe to my channel for some more Pokemon Masters content. And I'll see you guys in the next one.